Hi, I'm Sam Merritt. I'm captain and team leader of the Schooner Apollonia, which is the wonderful ship we're all aboard right now. The Apollonia is a schooner, which is just a fancy way of saying it's a sailboat which has more than one mast. And we sail freight and cargo throughout the Hudson Valley from our home port right back here in Hudson, New York, all the way down to New York City.
All right, everyone ready on their lifts? Yep. All right, go ahead and haul away both lifts.
You know, using the wind to transport things sustainably, but with the purpose of weaving together all of these amazing producers throughout the Hudson Valley. So we're connecting people who make maple syrup right here, people who make hot sauce right here with consumers down in New York City. And then we're even flipping things around. When we turn around, we're sailing up cargoes like coffee and things like that that you can't really grow around here. Our primary cargoes on the Apollonia are brewer's malt, oak logs for mushroom cultivation, bulk flour that was grown and milled right here in the Hudson Valley, and other grains. And those are what we consider the bulk cargoes or the large cargoes. We also have individual cargoes. We work with small scale producers delivering everything from honey to maple syrup to hot sauce. The Apollonia is an old boat. She actually turned 75 this year. She's from 1946. That's the Hudson Athens Lighthouse. That's from 1874. And it's a fascinating little spot. But yeah, that is, up until the 1940s, there was actually a family that lived there that had to keep a lamp oil fire burning as the only means of navigation there. You know, now the Coast Guard runs it with a little solar panel, and it's kind of a much simpler ordeal. Matt, let's see if we can get a little speed up and then we'll tack. The Hudson River is an amazing body of water. It presents all of the challenges of sailing anywhere that I've ever sailed. In some ways it's more challenging because it tends to be quite skinny. There's lots of commercial traffic. There's lots of shallow water, things like that. The wind is always changing and always fighting with you. But what's amazing about the Hudson River is the people that it connects. I think that's what really makes it work for me, is that we're constantly sailing past towns and people and we're interacting with them, right? We see our jobs very much as delivering cargo and also connecting people. Connecting, whether that's a producer to a consumer or whether that's just someone who lives in Hudson with the whereabouts of something cool that just happened in Kingston. You know, like that's what ships were historically, is they were messengers not only of cargo and freight, but also of news and weather. And, you know, you'd send something to a friend in another town. And so I think as we're trying to encourage folks to think about how the Hudson River is a way to move things, understanding the connection is really important.
This is definitely a new thing at the same time because it's just started within the last year to make these runs from Hudson, New York, down the Hudson River to here in Brooklyn, New York, and really connecting a lot of different towns and communities along the way and showing people that there's a way forward on sustainable freight and cargo.
Sail freight has been, you know, something people have done for thousands of years, 150, 200 years ago in the Hudson Valley. Most of what was moved by sloops and schooners like this on the Hudson River. And of course today there's this crisis we're having with the climate, and we're looking for some solutions. And I feel inspired by the past and feel like this is still a realistic solution. So the concept is to try it out and see how it goes. We are looking to the past, but not in some, like, you know, living history kind of museum way, just in what were practical solutions, like horses, total renewable energy. The wind obviously still exists. The Hudson River, still a resource that's here. Once it was the superhighway of the region, maybe it has utility as such again.
Today I came down to pick up some honey and some cider that I ordered on the Apollonia.
So Lou right here is riding this is our standard distribution rig right here, and you can just take off whenever you want. It is a Tern e-bike equipped with a Carla trailer. In the trailer is 400 pounds of malt from Upstate Farms, and Lou's about to ride it for distribution. In addition to that, what we've got today is some friends came out with a team of horses. I mean, this is kind of, you know, we've got in some ways a reappropriation of 18th century technology to be the green version of the future, and horses are obviously a renewable solution. The next load is going to Van Brunt, which is the closest delivery, so that should be nice. Nice refreshing load after last time.
Last one was a long load.
Yeah, totally. This one's right around the corner, and it's the rye, which is the unmarked bags. Same stuff we got you. So yeah, and he's using that to make a white rye whiskey. So it should be good, hopefully.
Yeah.
Actually, we'll be ready by this fall, so when we do this again in the fall, you can taste some of the products of our labor. And on the way up, we're going to bring whiskey from Van Brunt Whiskey, and we're going to bring a bunch of mead from Enlightenment Wines. We're also rendezvousing with a French ship that sailed wine and chocolate over across the Atlantic Ocean on Monday. So we're going to have some wine and chocolate in our northbound cargo. And there's probably something else I'm forgetting, but that's you know, it's been a long trip. Been underway for about a week now, so yeah, we're just trying to get the boat unloaded and things squared away.
Hoist up the John D. sails, see how the mainsail set.
You have to understand that the people we work with are very passionate about what they're making and very thoughtful about that. And they've thought about the taste, they've thought about the impact, they've thought about the producers. The idea of supporting local farms to a lot of these people is common practice, right? And the idea of organic produce and fair trade and how the labor is treated. And they're really trying to make the best product, and that's not just flavor, that's also story and impact. And then I think by and large, they all take the trucking part for granted, right? You build it, you need to get it to someone, you make it, you need to get it to someone, what do? You throw it on a truck. That sort of is how our distribution network is set up. And so when we approached them with the idea that there was an alternative, I think at first they sort of didn't really believe us. And then we've been sort of demonstrating that that's the case, and building a network of people who have faith in us.
There's a lot of people who try and do something like this. I mean, when he got this boat, it was just bare bones. There wasn't no masts, no booms. And in just a couple years, he put it all together. If it wasn't for his just like amazing like drive and energy, it would never ever been able to take place.
Said I feel so broken up, lost control.
For us, part of this is that sailing and many of the sort of traditional crafts, you can't preserve them in books. I mean, you can write amazing stories about sailing, obviously, and you can write down the goods, but the truth is, if you don't do it, you'll never really know how to do it, right? There's an experiential side to it. And so to some degree, engaging with people, getting them on boats, getting crew sailing again, keeping this like wisdom alive is the only way it's gonna persist, right?
When people hear we're delivering by sail, they're at first confused and just like, no way. Like, no, really? No fossil fuels? Yeah, none. And then interesting, and then their second question is, well, do the numbers add up? It's like, well, that's the point. That's what we're working on. And I think when we explain what we're doing, I think people overwhelmingly just understand that, you know, the system that we have working now just does, well, it's not working. The system that's in place right now is not working, and it's not sustainable. And it's just the power structure, trade structure, everything. It's not sustainable. It's good for now. It's good for maybe 10 years, but it's not going to be good in 50 years, and it's sure as hell not good for our grandchildren. So there's got to be a way to change things, and this is a small attempt, and it's, you know, a test case, but it gets the conversation started, so that's the point.